Hi there everyone, Owen here, and today I'm going to be doing something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and that is maple sugaring. I was born and raised here in Vermont, and I've never maple sugared before, but seeing as it's now early March, which is about the time that you want to start tapping trees, I decided I'm going to give it a go this year, so let's get to it. So to do this, I bought this little $20 kit. Came with a filter just to filter out any particulates and stuff. Came with 3 of these taps, which is actually going to be what I'm hammering into the tree. Came with a little brush to clean those, and a drill bit to drill in the tree. And it also came with this length of blue tubing, which is what's going to connect that to what I'm going to be using for buckets, which I didn't have the money to spring for the metal buckets, the nice aesthetically pleasing ones, so I have these very unaesthetically pleasing plastic water jugs, which I'm going to use. And now that I got all that stuff together, I think I'm gonna head out to the woods and try to find some maple trees. I'm just gonna load everything into my backpack here. I'm gonna have to carry it all the way back up the hill, make things a little easier. Bringing my binoculars to help me identify some trees. Let's hope my college dendrology class will come in useful. All right, so Piper, who's back there, and I are out here now. And being the person with ADHD that I am, I neglected to think ahead and to actually mark the trees when there were leaves on them. So luckily I took dendrology in college, which was, I took that class 3 years ago about, but I'm hoping that some of those skills will stick with me today and I'll be able to identify some maple trees. But wish me luck. So I'm just going to use this beech tree sapling as an example. So what I'm looking for through the binoculars is to see the branching pattern of the trees, which is one way to identify maple trees in the winter. Looking at this beech tree, you can see this has what we call alternate branching patterns, because it goes one on this side, one on this side, one on this side. Whereas a maple tree, they grow opposite each other. So like where my thumb is would be another point, like that. And that's one good way to identify maple trees. And this tree right here that I just found is actually presenting that. I'll try to show you up there. It'll be a little hard. There's so many other branches in the way, but you'll have to take my word for it. And looking at the bark and also using the app Seek, which is a great identification app, I have determined that I think this is a maple, and I'm going to go ahead and tap it. All right, first things first, before I get to tapping that, I'm gonna drill holes in my little plastic jug lids to get the hose through. Now it is time to tap our maple tree. From everything I've read online, I meant to preface this earlier, but I've never done this before. I'm an amateur. This is not a tutorial. I have no clue what I'm doing really. But from what I've read, you want to go about 3 feet up the trunk and you want to burrow in about 2 inches into the tree. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's about chest height, a little less than chest height on me because I'm taller. And yeah, here goes nothing. Going again. All right, so now that I got my hole, it's time for me to put my tap in. Have to set up the tripod for this one because I'm gonna need both hands to get it in, but eventually I'm just gonna hammer it right into that little hole. You hear the fighter jets. It's really peaceful. So since I only have about 6 foot of this blue stuff, I'm gonna take a little nail and I'm just gonna hammer it a little lower, and I'm gonna hang my bucket off of it. And once I'm done doing all this stuff and the sap stops flowing, I'm gonna take it all down and take this stuff out so the tree can heal. So don't worry about that. And now I'm gonna take my handy dandy pocket knife. Try not to cut myself on camera. Should be enough. And I'm gonna cut the thing. Always remember, cut away from yourself so you avoid getting cut. I should have picked a serrated knife, it seems. Come on. There we go. Got it. And now I'm just going to attach one end onto there, put away my knife, take my syrup collection bucket thing and run the other end through the hole I made in the top earlier. Easier said than done. And I'm gonna have to cut a little wider of a hole, it seems. Break out the knife again. That should do it. Actually, I'm gonna bend the nail a little bit. Run that in there. And should any sap come out of there, it should go right into my bucket. So fingers crossed we get some stuff. Now let's go try to find 2 more trees. Piper is very confused as to what we're doing. I think when she saw me heading out, she expected us to go for a hike or something, not go look at trees for an hour. But we're gonna go look for some more. Yeah. Another thing I've been doing in my search for maple trees as well has just been looking at the ground now that the snow's melted, and I found a few. They're a little decomposed, but they're definitely maple leaves, so there is a maple tree around here. I just gotta find out which one of these trees it is. Didn't even have to get the binoculars out. Lucked out on this one. 2 tiny, tiny little maple leaves just hanging off this tree. So I'm gonna unload my stuff and get to tapping this one. This one, more so than the last one, I can actually see the sap running already. So I'm gonna quickly tap this tree because this one's a good one. All right, so this is really cool. I can already see sap traveling down my tube and into my jug. So hopefully, I know it takes a lot of sap to make maple syrup because you gotta boil everything, but hopefully we'll get some, have enough maple syrup to at least have a stack of pancakes maybe. All right, so with that one tapped, I have one more tap, so we're gonna continue on and try to find one more. I'm excited, this is going well so far. Hi, Piper. She's still so confused by what we're doing. Don't worry, we're gonna go for a real walk after this. We lucked out again. This tree also has just a single leaf on it, but it's also cool. You can see the bud, which can also be an identifying factor. So I'm gonna move my stuff over here and get to tap this last tree. Let's do this one last time. A little lower, I think. Guess I didn't have to be as frugal as I was with my blue piping. So I'm not even gonna bother putting a nail in this one. I'm just gonna let it run down to the ground. All right, well, that was the last of my taps, so that's about it for me and Piper. You can see my other tree way over there. But it's supposed to be above freezing during the day and freezing at night for about the next week, which is ideal conditions for this maple sugaring. So I'll come back, check them every couple days or so. I don't expect to get a lot. I'm just hoping for enough for a stack of pancakes. And I'm mostly just doing this because it's a fun experience. But yeah, we'll come back in a couple days and see what we got.